Alrighty, welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to look at supply and the law of supply, uh, and it's going to be real similar to demand. A little bit different, but a lot of the way that we do things are going to be pretty similar. Hang on just a second. Going to have a few announcements during this, but we'll trudge through. It'll be fine. So, when we talk about the law of supply, let's just start off with the simple definition, and that is that there is a positive correlation or check that, positive relationship between the price of a product and the quantity supplied. All right, and we're going to abbreviate quantity supplied as QS. And so that's the textbook definition. Positive relationship means that if one thing's that one way, the other thing's the same way. If something's negative, the other thing's negative. And so in economics, when we look at the law of supply, uh, we'd say something like if the price of something goes up, then what's going to happen to the quantity supplied? And we'd say, well, the quantity supplied is going to go up as well. If the price of something goes down, then the quantity supplied of something's going to go down. And so, as you can see, this is a positive relationship. All right, they're more than friends; they are positive. It's a positive relationship. So, one of the tricky things to think about when we deal with the law of supply is, and it doesn't feel quite as intuitive as demand. With demand, we are the consumers, and so everything feels like everything we've always done. You know, if the price goes up, we want to buy less. If the price goes down, we want to buy more. Now, with supply, you need to put yourself in the mindset of being the producer. Okay, and so when you're the producer, let me just use the example that I've always used. It's always seemed to work pretty well. Let's say that I'm in the market. I'm a buyer, and I'm looking for a tutor, uh, and I need somebody for 4 hours per week. Okay. Now the question is, how much do I want to pay? Obviously, I don't want to pay anything. But if I don't pay anything, is anybody going to show up? All right. And so let's say that I'm talking to my class, and there's 33 students in the class. All right. And so I start to poll everybody, and I say, would you tutor for 4 hours a week? And let's say we're going to tutor in algebra, or how about economics? So hopefully everybody will be able to tutor well in economics. So anyhow, so if I said, you know what, I'm going to give somebody $0 if they'll come tutor for me for 4 hours a week. Now, since this is IB, let's say one of you needs the CAS hours. And so instead of taking the money, you say, how about could I do it and get some CAS hours for it? And I would say that sounds kind of reasonable. Sounds like some CAS hours to me. So let's say one of you does it. Then I say, you know what if I offered $5? All right, and so then I'm going to get some more people. I'm still below minimum wage, but let's say five more people agree to do it because we know that the first person, they're going to do it at $0, so we know that they'll definitely do it for five. Uh, and so five more people show up. And so what if I said, all right, what if I offered $10? What's going to happen to the quantity supplied of people, oops, I'm sorry, of people willing to tutor? So it's 1 in 6. And obviously it's going to go up because, again, this is positive relationship. Positive relationship. As this is going up, increasing, so is this. And so let's say that at 10 bucks, total of 15, so 9 more of you should agree to do it. Then let's say we go up to $15. Now I'm pulling 10 more of you in, and finally go up to 20 bucks, and the rest of you say, okay, you got me. And so now I've got uh, everybody working at 20 bucks. So what I want you to get out of this, though, is that remember, you are the producer, you are the person selling their service, you're the tutor, and notice what's happening to the supply. Now, why are more people willing to work as the price goes up? Okay, and the one big thing that drives the supply curve is profit, the profit incentive. More of you are willing to do it as the profits got higher and higher and higher. Okay, some of you may have said, you know what, I like to study. You know, maybe this group here. The rest of y'all, uh, what's that, 18 or so. The rest of you said, I have after-school activities. I want to study. I got other things to do. I want to go home and sleep. Uh, you know, once that number started to rise, then the opportunity cost of sleeping or after school activities started to go up as well. And so you said, you know what, for 15 bucks an hour, it's worth it to me. And so as the prices go up, the supply is going to go up as well, and it's driven by the desire for profit. Think of Apple producing an iPad. If they could get $1,500 for it, then they would produce more than they're producing now. Okay, so that's how it works. So hang on just a second. Patience is a virtue. We'll draw in the meantime. Okay, so what we've got is, if you remember on the last, when we did demand, when we drew it out like this was called a certain thing. And take just a second to think about it. But when we had price and quantity demanded, and we listed out the price and all the quantity demanded, we called that a demand schedule. And so, lo and behold, we would call this a supply schedule. All right. So, what do we do with the supply schedule? Well, all we do, remember, it's going to give us the information to graph all this stuff out. So, let's graph this out. So we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Then over here, we'll say 5, 10, 15, and 20. Okay, and so what we're going to do, again, like we do with the demand curve, is just plot the points. Okay, so we've got, and this is in dollars. So at a price of 0, I've got 1 taker. So we'll put our dot right there because our price is 0 and the quantity is 1. So our dot would go there. Let's use a different color. All right, at a price of $5, so here's our $5. We can get 6 people that are willing to tutor. At a price of $10, $10 here, so we come over here to $10. There are 15 people, so a quantity of 15, so come all the way over here until we hit the 15 coming up, just right about there. At $15, it would be 25 people, maybe somewhere right around in there. It's not going to be perfect. And then at $20, we got 33 of you, and so it'll look something like that. And so this, when we connect all the dots, this is our supply curve. All right. Now, a couple of things about it. When we did the demand curve, remember when we moved from one point to the next along the curve, if you remember, that was called, for the demand, it was a change in the quantity demanded. Any movement along this curve, anywhere from there down to there, or there to there, it doesn't matter, is a change in the quantity supplied. Okay, move along the curve. All right, a couple of other things to notice real quick. As you notice, this is a positive slope. Make sure we get that in. We're going to talk about the linear function for a supply curve in another lesson. So this is a positive slope. So when we look at that mx plus b, this is going to be a positive number. But skipping ahead just a little bit. So that should do it. Let's just recap one more time. This is the law of supply. There's a positive relationship that's between. Sorry, my penmanship is poor, and I'm aware of that. Positive relationship between price and the quantity supplied, meaning that as the price goes up, if the price goes up, the quantity supplied goes up. If the price goes down, the quantity supplied goes down. All right. It is driven by the profit motive. As the prices rise, there's more profit to be made, and we can graph all this out. This is our tutoring example. As I offered higher wages to people to tutor, then more and more people would be willing to tutor. If I got up to $100, people would be knocking down the doors to come and do it. So the idea is that they can make a lot of money. So we take the supply schedule, which is what this is, and graph it onto the supply curve. It is an upward sloping curve, and all we did was plot the points. And so using this curve, you could say, okay, What if I wanted to pay $13? We can come over here and get an approximation as to how many students would be willing to do it at $13. Now, one other last note is if you're a supplier, you are going to be happy anywhere on this line, okay? Because if I offered $5, then I'm going to have 6 people willing to do it. Are those 6 people happy? The answer would be yes. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been part of the supply curve. What about the rest of the class that didn't want to do it? Would they be happy if I only offered $5? And of course they would, because then they would just go do something else. They would do their after-school stuff, or whatever it is they wanted to do. And so, anywhere along this line, excuse me, anywhere along this line, the supplier's going to be perfectly happy. Okay, there will just be more of a supply as the price rises, and there'll be more happy people. All right, and that would be a good thing. So anyway, until next lesson, enjoy.